Okay, guys, so we'll start now. Okay, so good evening, everyone. So I'm starting up the session now. So as already we have discussed yesterday, okay, so how to begin with the things. Okay, I'll just brush it up once here. The yesterday's session. As you know, this is Azure Data Engineering, wherein you have this is a bunch of the cloud services, guys, and you have what's that data migration, data integration, data summarization, and the data visualization. These are all the process we can perform it, guys. Then afterwards, you have what is that? These are nothing but that is the various cloud services you will have in Azure Data Engineering. That is ADF, ADB, Synapse, Fabric, okay, ML, OpenAI, etc. And then we have what is that, guys? The next one we have it as what? About the data. So when you talk about the data or the information, we get it from where? From the social networking sites, banking applications, IoT sensors, live streaming process. So that these are all the sources of getting the data. So again, we have what's it? Big data. So big data means what? The data which is generated by these sources is nothing but the data will be in what? Massive format. And massive is nothing but what called as what? Big data. Where the big data is classified into what's it? Three categories. What is that? Structured data, semi-structured data, and as well as the unstructured data. Structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data, guys. Okay. Structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. Structured means what? The data which is recorded in the form of a rows and columns. It is proper formatted data. And your words that semi-structured data is nothing but what? The data which is recorded in the form of just like a JSON file, HTML file, or etc. XML file, you have it. Okay. Then your words that unstructured data means what? The data which does not has any structure. This data does not have what is it, guys? Any structure. This data does not have what is it? Any structure, guys. Okay, there will be no proper structure for this data. Okay, that means the photos, videos, okay, chat history, all this comes under what? Unstructured data only. So when we talk about the unstructured data, guys, the unstructured data or the structured data or the semi-structured data, where does it stores? In Azure, this will be stored in the Azure storages. It will be stored in what? Azure storage. So what are the Azure storages we have it, guys? We have 90 plus storages. How many, guys? We have 90 plus storages in Azure. Totally, we have what's that? 90 plus storages in Azure. What are those? The first storage is called as what is it, guys? Azure Blob Storage, where basically it stands for what? Structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. All this data you can store it into the Azure Blob Storage. But it is a limited storage. You cannot store, guys, you cannot store the whole massive data, guys. You can store only what's it? Limited data. You can store what is it, guys? Limited data. What's the limit here? 500. Yes, guys. What is it you can store, guys? 500. Yes, there is nothing but TB of data you can store it here into the Azure Blob Storage. The next one is what is it you have it? Azure Data Lake Gen 2. So Azure Data Lake Gen 2 is what? Here you can store the data in what is it? Structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. That means you can store any kind of data even in the Gen 2. But the only difference between the blob storage and the Gen 2 storage is that here it is recorded in the unlimited storage. That means here there will be no storage limit. You can store the data up to whatever the level you want, you can store it here. But here you can store only what? Limited data. And the second difference is that, guys, yes, it is recorded in the form of a DFS. That means what? Distributed file format, where the data in the Gen 2 is recorded in what? Distributed file format, DFS. So we will see what is distributed file format. As of now, I will tell you. Suppose there are 1,000 rows in an Excel sheet. Okay, and you wanted to split across 4 different Excel sheets. Tell me now what is the amount of data will be allocated to each sheet, guys? Yes, everyone. What is the amount of data stored in each sheet? See, guys, my question is that here I'll repeat once again. You have 1,000 rows are there in Excel sheet. And now you wanted to distribute across 4 different Excel sheets. Tell me now, what is the amount of data you will store it in each Excel sheet, guys? Tell me now. Huh? Yes, everyone.
Sorry, sir, can you please repeat?
See, basically, you have a data of, guys, 1,000 rows. How many rows? 1,000 rows data is there, guys, everyone. 1,000 rows data is there. Where in these 1,000 rows, you wanted to split across 4 different Excel sheets. What is the amount of rows allocated to each sheet, guys?
1,000 divided by 4.
Yeah, 250, 250, 250, 250. Am I right? 4 different. So whereas that means the same data you're distributing across how many files here? 4 different files by allocating equal amount of data to each row. By allocating what's it? Equal amount of data towards it, each row. So this is an example of the DFS format, that is called as what? Distributed file format. Okay. So anyways, we will see in detail how the data will be recorded, actually what is the memory area locate, or there is a name, but it has everything. We will discuss it, guys. Okay. And then you have what's it? The third type of storage is called as a Azure SQL database. Means what, guys? Azure SQL database is what? Azure SQL database is nothing but, guys, Azure SQL database is nothing but, everyone, Azure SQL database is nothing but the SQL database. So generally on the on-premises system, we call it as what? On the on-premises system, we call it as what? That is nothing but SQL server. The same SQL server here is called as what? Azure SQL database. Azure SQL database. So whereas the database called SQL, when it is used on the cloud, the database, when it is used on the cloud, it is called as what, guys? When the database is used in the cloud, when the database is used on the cloud, it is called as what? Azure SQL database. Okay. So Azure SQL database is nothing but it has the data, or it can store the data only called what? Structured data. You cannot store semi-structured or the unstructured data into the Azure SQL database. Then the next one, what is it? You have it, guys, Azure Cosmos DB. So Cosmos DB is what? This is a very trending, storage right now. We have it where you have no SQL. That means there will be no SQL used here, guys. There will be no SQL used here. Okay, there will be no SQL used. It is called as what? No SQL database. Everyone, it is called as what? No SQL database. It is called as what, guys? No SQL database. And here you can store what's it? Structured data, and as well as what? Semi-structured data. Both the type of data you can store it here. Okay. Yes, guys, you can store what? Azure Cosmos DB. Azure Cosmos DB is what? Here is the place where you can store what is that? Yes, guys, here you can store the data in the form of what? Yes, guys, it is called as what? No SQL database. That means there will be no rules here. Rules for storage. Hence, you can store what is that? Data in the structured format and as well as in the semi-structured format. And the next type of storage is what? Azure Synapse. Synapse means what? It can store the data. Yes, guys, it can store the data. Yes, Azure Synapse is nothing but it can store the data in structured format only. It can store the data in what? Structured format only. That means what? Azure Synapse Analytics is a place which is called as what? Data warehouse, which is also called as what? Data warehouse. That means it's the data warehouse of Azure. And here it can store the data into what is that? Structured format. It can store the data into what is that? Structured format. So hence it is called as what? Data warehouse. Then again you have what's that? Elastic pool. So elastic pool is what? Multiple databases stored at a place is called as the elastic pool. That means here you can store multiple databases. That means here you have Azure SQL database now. Under this you have one production database is there, one sales database is there. Likewise, you have 100 databases. All those 100 databases you can store at a place that is called as what? Azure Elastic Pool. And make sure that you can store only the structured data. So whenever you have the database word comes, only structured data will be stored, guys. except the Cosmos DB or the MongoDB, you call it. Okay. Then again, you have what's that? Azure virtual machine. Yes, guys. Azure virtual machine means what? Here you can use the mostly, guys, on-premises SQL server. Okay, what's that? On-premises SQL server. You can store it here. Virtual machine means what? Parallel machine. You can define it. Parallel machine. You can create it. So once you use the on-premises SQL server onto the virtual machine or on-premises Oracle database, that means that can also store what is that, guys? Structured data as well. So likewise, if you count it, we have 90 plus storages in Azure. How many storages? 90 plus storages in Azure, guys. We have altogether how many storages? 90 plus storages in Azure. 90 plus, that means we can store up towards that 90 storages. We can store the data here. So now tell me, what is this 90 storages? So guys, how to view that 90 storages? For that, first of all, use the azure.com. How to log in? I'm telling you. Use the azure.com page, get it registered, and then use portal.azure.com. So portal.azure.com is what? Final page on which we are going to work. The final page on which we are going to work is what? Portal.azure.com. Oh, here I'm just taking you to that page now. Can you see here? I'll share you the screen once more. First of all, how to register, I'll tell you. Use azure.com, everyone. So this is your page, guys, everyone. Can you see it? This is your page, everyone. So yeah, I'm audible, guys, everyone. Please respond.
Yes, sir.
So here you do what? Sign in. Sign in means what? Obviously, if you have some already, can you see it? Sign in means directly it's rerouting. I'll do one thing now. Get started. Try Azure for free. Means what? I wanted to try for free. As I'm already registered with this mail ID, it's directly taking me to the sign up option. You can see at the Cloud Innovatives, I already am registered. So it's taking me to the sign up option. Or else what it will do, guys, everyone. Or else what it will do generally, once you click on sign in, it will ask you your mail ID, your details, your PIN code, etc., your name, everything it will ask you, including the debit and credit card details. Why the debit and credit card? That means it will charge you, guys, everyone, it will charge you 2 rupees. That is 2 rupees from your debit and credit card just for authentication purpose. And later what happens here? The same will be reverted back in 8 days. Okay. That means when you wanted to use it, guys, it will be reverted back to the same here. Okay. So that's the thing we have it, guys, everyone. And don't worry, even if authentication happens, it is not going to charge you unless until you authorize them. Okay. Unless until you authorize them, they are not going to charge a single penny, guys. So hence, so need not worry on this. Create the same. And final page is this one, guys. Portal.azure.com. Everyone, can you see here? This is called as a portal.azure.com. And wherein on this particular page called portal.azure.com, everyone, just to see here, I'll show you how many guys, how many storages you have. Click on the more services on the corner. See here, everyone. These are all the, can you see here, services provided. Out of all these services, can you see here? You have what is that? Compute services are 35. Means what? This is a type of storages only, mostly. Virtual machine application, definitions, virtual machine images. Okay. And you have what is it, guys? Can you see here? SAP HANA, this is also storage. Okay. These are all the storages. So how many? Almost all you have it? 35 storages. And now here you have what? Direct storages. It is called as container storages are 11 and database storages are 19. So we can say what? 19 plus 11 is what, guys? 30. 30 plus 35. 30 plus 35 means what? Almost all. Guys, 65 storages you have it here itself. 65. Now, here you have 17 storages. Means what, guys, everyone? 65 plus 17 again. So 65 plus 17 means what, guys, everyone? 65 plus 17. Yeah, almost on
81,
82 storages. Am I
82.
right? Yeah, 82 storages. Likewise, can you see? Here only you got 82. So if you just count it some other, it will be 90. So 90 storages, almost on 90 plus you can see. You have altogether how many? 90 plus storages in the shipments. So likewise, you can have many storages here. Okay, guys. So here you have many storages. These are all the storages mostly. So now, guys, let's come back here to the home page. Let's come back to the home page, guys. It's here 90 plus
Hello,
storages.
sir.
Yeah,
Hello,
please.
sir. How much it
Please.
will charge if you didn't get any services? Like you didn't active free service or anything?
First of all, it will be
How much?
free for 1 month. It will be free for 1 month. Later, after 1 month, it will be depends upon your usage. If you're using some of the limited usage, it will not charge you more than 1500 to 2000 rupees.
Maximum will be 1500 or 1600.
Maximum, including taxes.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so I'll tell you the optimization techniques, how to save your cost, everything. Okay, so here you have it, guys. That's it. And now, anyways, once it is done, guys. Okay, so once it is done, guys, everyone. So it's done now. So once it is done, everyone. Once it is done. So what you have to do is, once it is done, let's start with the services. Can you see? Your first service called data factory means what? ADF, guys. Likewise, you can see the data bricks means what? ADB. And then you have the service called what? Synapse. Here only a service is ready. Microsoft Fabric, can you see? Here also it's there. Huh? So you can say these are all the services. Apart from this, whatever the service you want, you can just type it here. Yes. Then machine learning. Machine learning. Can you see? Machine Learning Studio Classic Workspace. Just a minute. I'll use Azure Machine Learning. Machine Learning. Can you see here? Here you have machine learning is there. So just go home page. Now it will be stored anyways. Machine learning is there. Can you see here? Then you have Data Studio is there. Sorry, Azure Data Factory is there. Then you have the, can you see here, guys? Azure Databricks is there. And then you, if you want the Fabric, Synapse is there. Everything, whatever the service you want, all the services are here. Okay, everyone. So this is nothing but the thing we have it. So let's start with the first service here, as we have already discussed it yesterday. The first service we are going to see it here called as what? Azure Data Factory. What's the service you have it, guys? Everyone, Azure Data Factory. That is, we call it as what? ADF. That we call it as what? ADF. That is called as what? Azure Data Factory. ADF, guys. Here we call the service as what? ADF. So here you have what's it, guys, everyone? We call it as what? ADF. That is called as what? Azure Data Factory. Everyone, okay? Azure Data Factory. Let's start with this. The Azure Data Factory is nothing but this is one of the cloud services, one of the cloud service provided by Azure. So this is one of the cloud services provided by Azure. Okay, guys, this is one of the cloud service provided by Azure. So now you can say, guys, everyone, the Azure Data Factory. So the Azure Data Factory is one of the cloud service guys. You can say what's that? This is one of the cloud service provided by Azure. This is the first point I can tell you. And the second point on this, I can tell you guys, okay, cloud service provided by Azure. And the second one is Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory, everyone. Or else you can just club it to this. Azure Data Factory, guys. Azure Data Factory is a Azure Data Factory. Okay, guys. Azure Data Factory is a graphical user interface, GUI. Means what? Where we don't use the coding method, guys. Coding is almost all zero here. Though we don't use any kind of a coding here, guys. We use what's that? Coding as a zero. A graphical user interface. We use what's that? Graphical user interface. That we almost all the coding is zero, guys. We don't use any coding here. We don't use what's that? Any coding. That is called as what? Graphical user interface. Everyone, okay? So we use what's that? Graphical user interface. Means what? We don't use the coding. So almost all the coding is zero, guys. Then afterwards, everyone. Once it is done, can you see here? Again, what is it? You have it, everyone. So here you have what's it? Cloud services provided by Azure. Then Azure Data Factory is a GUI. So guys, what is that? When we call it as what ADF or the Azure Data Factory, this whole data factory, we can just move forward based on what is it, everyone? The components. If you know these components, then you know everything in. Okay, this one. If you know these components, then you know everything, guys. Okay. What should you have it? Components. Can you share what should we can say? Components in ADF. Components in ADF. Components in ADF. That is, we call it as what? Azure Data Factory. Components in ADF. That we call it as what? Azure Data Factory. Components in ADF. That we call it as what? Azure Data Factory. Components in ADF. That we call it as what? Azure Data Factory. So here we can say, guys, Azure Data Factory is what is that? Components we have it. Okay. Okay, components in ADF. That is nothing but if you wanted to, guys, everyone, if you wanted here to work on ADF, we require to know, can you see here? We require to know what is that the components in ADF here. What are the components we have it? Can see here. Components in ADF. The first one is called as what? The first component we call it here as what, guys? Everyone. The first component here we call it as what? Pipeline. What's it? Pipeline. And the second one is called as what? Guys, linked service. And the third one we call it as what, guys, everyone? Pipeline, linked service. Then you have what's it? Data sets. And the fourth one we call it here as what? Pipeline linked service data sets. And then you have what is it, guys? Pipeline linked service data sets. Then you have what's it? Mapping data flows. Mapping data flows, guys. Then the fifth one is what is it? You have it? Pipeline link service data set, mapping data flows, activities. Activities. And the sixth one we can say, guys, everyone, pipeline data sets, mapping data flows, activities. And then you have what is it, guys, everyone? We can say triggers. Triggers and integration. Runtime. So here this is called as what? IRs. This is called as what? IRs. It is called as an integration runtime space. So if you at all you wanted to know the ADF, or if at all you wanted to get versed on the ADF, then here these are the components you need. If you know these components, then you know everything in ADF, guys. Getting my point? If you know this, then you know everything in ADF, guys. Okay. So what is it? You have it. If you know this, then you know everything in ADF. So we have what's that, guys? Everyone. Okay. Okay. So here you have said these are all the components we have it there. So now, anyways, I'll write it down. The one word, there is nothing but the description for each one. Pipeline is nothing but is nothing but it is it is used to carry the data from source to the target. You guys, it is used to carry the data from the source to the target. And then you also link for service. Link service is nothing but what? It is used to establish the relationship between source and the target storage and ADF. That is data factory. Then you have the it is or these, or else you can say it is the pointer. It is the pointer to the, yes guys, it is the pointer to the, it is the pointer to the, yes guys, it is the pointer to the physical physical location. It is the pointer to the physical location, yes guys. It is the pointer to the physical location of the data set, of the data, physical location of the data. These are the actual transformations in ADF. That means transformations is what actually work on this ETL. Now, the transformations is nothing but mapping data flows are the actual transformations we have. Then activities. These are used to add actions to be performed on the data. These are used to perform the actions to be performed on the data. Okay, activities. Then triggers. These are used to automate the pipeline to run on the scheduled basis. To run on a scheduled basis. Okay. Then the next one is integration runtime. Okay. These are created by the execution of the data pipeline based on the, there is nothing but source and the target. Based on the source and the target. It says based on the source and the target storages, such as the first one is auto resolve. IR means integration runtime. It is also called as what? Or means it is also called as what? Azure IR. It is created when you want to transfer the data cloud to cloud transfer. Cloud to cloud transfer. When you go forward, cloud to cloud transfer. Cloud to cloud transfer. Then you have what? Self-hosted. Self-hosted IR. This is nothing but when you want to transfer the data between on-premises to cloud. Then you have what's that? Self-hosted IR. Okay, self-hosted IR, Azure IR, self-hosted IR, and then you have what's that, guys? The next one is what? SSIS IR. This is nothing but when you wanted to run on-premises script, on-premises script, when you want to run the on-premises script to the cloud, onto the cloud. Okay. So anyways, these are the things we have it. So anyways, I'll explain you in detail, guys. One by one, we will discuss it. Need not worry on this. I've just given you the notes today. So we will discuss each one of it. What is the functionality of all this with examples, everything. Okay. So next class will be on Monday, guys. Monday, the same 6 p.m. Okay, will be the timings for this. Okay. So that's it, guys. Thank you, everyone. And I'm stopping the
Thank you, sir.
class. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.